In the beginning, there was only silence. A silence so complete that even the concept of sound had not yet been born. Then, somewhere in that infinite quiet, a vibration emerged, a tremor so small it could not yet be called a wave. And from that trembling, the universe began to hum. Everything you see today, the galaxies, the oceans, your heartbeat, your thoughts, all trace their origin to that first flicker of energy. From nothing, came something. From void, came matter. And from matter, came us. But the question still lingers like an echo in the mind of every thinking being. Are we just matter? Are we nothing more than atoms arranged in a pattern so complex that it imagines itself alive? Or is there something beyond, something matter alone cannot explain? The ancient gambit. Long before the first telescope pointed toward the stars, the ancient Greeks gazed at the world and wondered what it was made of. Democritus, in the 5th century before Christ, proposed a daring idea, that everything in the universe is composed of tiny, indivisible particles called atoms. Invisible, eternal, unchangeable, the building blocks of all existence. To him, the soul, the body, the wind, the stars, all were the dance of atoms in the void. He saw no gods, no purpose, only motion. The universe, he said, needs no creator, it simply is. Yet, not everyone agreed. Plato looked at this mechanical vision and felt something essential was missing. He asked, if we are only matter, then what gives rise to beauty, to justice, to love? Atoms could never explain ideals, those invisible forms that seem to shape the soul. And thus began the oldest philosophical war in human history, between the materialists and the idealists, between what is seen and what is felt. The machine awakens. Thousands of years later, that ancient debate found new life in the dawn of science. Galileo looked through his telescope and saw moons orbiting Jupiter. Newton formulated the laws of motion and gravity. The universe began to resemble a grand, perfect clock, precise, mechanical, predictable. For the first time, we had equations that could describe the heavens. We could predict eclipses, map the stars, and even imagine a cosmos that needed no divine hand. To many, it seemed the materialists had finally won. The soul, they said, was nothing more than the mind, and the mind was just the brain, and the brain was just matter. But as the gears of this cosmic machine turned, a strange unease grew. If everything was determined by laws of physics, then what of free will? If we are just matter obeying motion, then who is it that chooses? Are we truly living, or merely happening? The many faces of matter. For centuries, we believed matter was solid, little billiard balls colliding in space. But as our instruments sharpened, matter began to dissolve. Atoms were found to contain nuclei, nuclei contained protons and neutrons, these, in turn, were made of quarks. And deeper still, energy fields, vibrating, interacting, never still. Matter was no longer solid. It was movement. It was pattern. It was relationship. In quantum physics, the solidity of the world gives way to a shimmering sea of probabilities. A particle can exist in multiple places at once, until it is observed. The observer, by the mere act of looking, changes what is seen. And so, matter began to look less like an object and more like a story, one that only comes into being when consciousness participates. The abyss of experience. But here lies the true mystery. You can describe the motion of every atom in the brain, every chemical signal, every neuron's electric pulse, yet none of it explains what it feels like to be you. The redness of a sunset. The sound of your name. The ache of memory. These are not quantities. They are qualities. And no microscope can measure them. Philosophers call this the hard problem of consciousness. How does matter, blind, unthinking, mechanical matter, give rise to experience? How can the atoms that make up your brain suddenly see themselves, love, dream, and suffer? Science tells us how the brain works. But it does not tell us why there is something it is like to be that brain. Why there is being, rather than nothing at all. History's material footprint. Materialism did not stay confined to philosophy, it became the foundation of our civilization. The Industrial Revolution, capitalism, and modern technology all grew from the conviction that the world is matter to be measured, mined, and mastered. We learned to bend metal, split atoms, and soon, to edit the code of life itself. We became gods of our own material world. Yet, in that same triumph, something hollow echoed. We built machines that think, but forgot how to feel. We conquered matter, but began to lose touch with meaning. Perhaps this is the hidden price of a purely material vision. When everything becomes a thing, even the soul begins to rust. When matter goes quantum. Then came the quantum revolution, and the ground beneath materialism cracked. At the smallest scales of nature, the universe refused to behave like a machine. Particles blinked in and out of existence. Observation seemed to create reality itself. The simple question, what is matter? Suddenly had no clear answer. Was it a particle? A wave? An energy field? An idea? The deeper physicists looked, the less stuff they found. The cosmos, once thought to be a grand mechanism, now looked like an intricate dream. And perhaps, we were the dreamers. The ghost of aboutness. If thoughts are made of matter, then how do they mean something? When you think of a friend, your brain patterns represent that person. But matter itself cannot point to anything. A molecule cannot mean friendship, an atom cannot refer to love. Meaning, direction, intention, these are not physical properties. They belong to mind. And yet, mind arises from matter. Or does it? The realm beyond matter. Some philosophers, unable to accept that consciousness is mere accident, have proposed a daring idea. Maybe mind is not produced by matter at all. Maybe it is fundamental, woven into the very fabric of the universe. This view, known as panpsychism, suggests that even the smallest particles have a spark of experience. That consciousness, rather than emerging from complexity, is as basic as space and time. In this light, the universe is not dead matter, but a living field of awareness, expressing itself in infinite forms. Rocks, trees, humans, stars, different degrees of the same consciousness, dreaming different dreams. Where the foundation cracks. Neuroscience has mapped the brain in exquisite detail. We can see which regions light up when we feel joy, fear, or love. Yet, no scan reveals the experience itself. We can measure brain waves, but not the soul behind them. It is as if we are staring at the surface of the ocean, unaware of the depths below. And the more we study, the more we realize how little we understand. Maybe consciousness is not something that arises, but something that is. The foundation upon which all else stands. Beyond the dichotomy. Perhaps the question itself, are we matter or mind? Is flawed. Maybe they are not two, but one. Two reflections of a single, ineffable reality. The mystics of the East said it long ago. That the world of form and the world of spirit are not separate, but interwoven. That the observer and the observed are one continuous process of awareness. Science seeks truth through measurement. Spirituality seeks truth through experience. But both are looking at the same mystery, through different windows of the same mind. Beyond the dichotomy. Perhaps the question itself, are we matter or mind? Is flawed. Maybe they are not two, but one. Two reflections of a single, ineffable reality. The mystics of the East said it long ago. That the world of form and the world of spirit are not separate, but interwoven. That the observer and the observed are one continuous process of awareness. Science seeks truth through measurement. Spirituality seeks truth through experience. But both are looking at the same mystery, through different windows of the same mind. Living with or without matter. So then, how should we live? If we are only matter, then life is brief, accidental, and absurd. But if there is more, if consciousness is fundamental, then every moment becomes sacred. Whether we are matter becoming aware of itself, or awareness pretending to be matter, the miracle remains the same. We exist. Against all odds, against the silence of infinite space, something in the universe has begun to feel. And that something is you. The unresolved question. Even after all the science, all the philosophy, the question still lingers unanswered. Are we just matter, or something beyond it? Maybe we are like waves in an ocean, mistaking ourselves for separate things, when in truth we are the ocean itself, moving, breathing, becoming. Perhaps the universe is not made of matter, nor of mind, but of something deeper, something that gives birth to both. Something that dreams, and in dreaming, becomes everything that is. Perhaps we are not made of matter. Perhaps matter itself is made of us.